and the battery life, it really does suck, man. I just turned the camera on. It went from 62% to 61%. I could have no apps running in the background, and this phone would still drain for some reason. It makes no sense at all. I could just have the screen on, and I could just watch that 61% drop for no reason. Let's see. Now for the settings, let me show you guys. Now look, I didn't download any crazy apps. The only thing I did download was backdrops, Nova settings, Nova Launcher, and Snapseed. And aside from Nova Launcher, the other apps don't really run in the background. This is purely, for the most part, stock Android with Google Apps. Now let's check out the settings. I did upgrade to Oreo, and one thing I've noticed is that they took off the option to turn off Wi-Fi while this phone is asleep. So whether you like it or not, Wi-Fi is going to be on 24/7. There's nothing you can do except take it off manually and turn it back on manually. Now it does have a battery saving mode, but once you do put it on, you get that orange effect, and the screen does dim itself down a little bit too much. So that's like for emergency uses. Now look at this. I had this phone charged for like about a day and a half, and it's at 61%. I've only used YouTube for about 5%, or about 25 minutes. Nova Launcher, maybe I was tinkering with the settings for about 20 minutes. Chrome, I used it for 9 minutes. Google, 6 minutes. That's pretty much it. And I'm at 61%. It makes no sense. I definitely used it. The screen was definitely on less than an hour and 31 minutes. I'm not sure why it's even giving me this bullshit reading. Okay, so before I actually, this phone is on airplane mode right now. And before I put it on airplane mode, this was telling me that the radio was using up most of the energy. So I put it on airplane mode, and now that radio statistic, that's gone. So now we have phone idle 10%, system 11%. That's 21% of battery drainage by the system and the phone being idle. Now I've had this on for about a day and a half, barely used it. And now what I want to compare right now with you guys is the Huawei Sensa or the Honor 5X. Now this does have Wi-Fi off while it's asleep. It's not on airplane mode. It does have signal. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to Phone Manager, Power Usage Details. This phone has been on for about 8 days. 8 freaking days. And it's at 60%. While this Nexus 6P Google stock with Oreo has been on for about a day and a half, and it's at 60%. Look at the battery consumption, the standby. This just, steadily decreases while this just barely decreases. And this is on airplane mode, man. This does not make any sense. And this is actually running Huawei's UI. So I got all these extra apps. I got the extra skin. It does have Nova Launcher. Let's see. Okay, so for hardware, cell standby, it does have phone idle. Still doesn't make any sense as to why this phone can't handle 20 minutes of YouTube browsing and a few minutes, about 10 minutes of internet browsing. And the thing is, the screen brightness on this phone is set higher. Okay, now this is at 59%. but a standby time for 8 days. If this was 8 days, this probably would have been dead already. So, and the thing is, this is stock Android, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Is the battery old? Is it time to change the battery? Or this is just how the Snapdragon 810 processor behaves? Because I had the 808, which is kind of similar. And with the Moto X Pure Edition, the battery would also drain. But that also did have a quad HD screen. So, not exactly sure what to say. Oh, now this is dropping at 58%. Okay, but straight up for the standby time, I don't understand why the Nexus 6P has that battery drainage. Alright, well, that's it for today. That's my little rant. If you guys have any comments or tips on what I can do to actually improve the battery life of my Nexus 6P, go ahead and comment down below. Now, as for the stock experience, it's pretty cool. Smooth, barely any lag. But the only thing that bothers me is that battery drainage. Alright guys, that's it for today. Hit me up below in the comment section. Peace.